Today we're going to talk about Every Door Direct. That is what EDDM stands for. So what is Every Door Direct Mail? Every Door Direct Mail is a program through the US Post Office that allows you to, in an inexpensive way, saturate an area using the routes rather than a mailing list. And this is really interesting because a lot of companies don't have mailing lists unless it's their existing customers, and they don't want to spend the money on a list because they could be super expensive. But a great way to get people, especially if you're working in a local area that you think you could get more customers from, this is a great way to do it. So what are some of the regulations? Because we know it's post office. They have all these rules and regulations as to what you can and can't do. So there are size requirements. It has to be longer than 10.5 inches. It has to be taller as well, more than 6 inches, but it can't be more than 15 inches long or as wide as 12 inches. It has a weight maximum of 3.3 ounces, which is not very much at all. You have to mail at least 200 in each route that you pick or each post office that you go to. And you can send a maximum of 5,000 a day. And then if you do it locally yourself, you would have to bundle and tag it. I have relationships with printers where they actually take care of that for you. So what are some design examples? These are all designs that I've come up with for my clients. Yeah, they're all postcards, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a postcard. But this is probably the #1 piece of mail that I do. I've done a couple other ones. You'll see one later on that I'll talk about that's a different size and a different layout, but most of the ones that go out look like postcards. I've done for gyms, as you can see, a pharmacy, heating and cooling company, a beer place that was doing a tasting. Those are all perfect examples of targeting the neighborhoods around those businesses to really pick up customers. So how does the route selection work? The route selection works, there's actually a tool right on the post office website, the USPS website. You go in there, you look and say, okay, I'm going to put in my zip code. And that's what's up on the screen now. And each one of these, let me do something real quick so you can see so each one of these is a route, each one of these pink. So I've selected this one that's in blue. What you can see at the top is how many residential stops there are, how many business stops there are, what the age percentage is for that specific range. You can change that range to see what it is for older demographic or younger demographic, size of how many people are in the house, the income level as well, and then what the cost is for that route. So this one's 520 pieces. You could send just to that route. There are some routes that will be less than 200, so you might have to pick a second one to be able to mail that. You could select quite a few, up to 5,000 units for 1 day of mailing. So let's talk about a couple case studies that I want to share with you. So this pharmacy is probably about 20-25 miles from the border of Vermont. And they wanted to be able to attract people from Vermont over the border to use that pharmacy because they did take Vermont insurance. And a lot of people didn't know that lived pretty close to them. So what we did is we actually came out with this postcard that just basically says we take the insurance, and then it has a bunch of information on the back that explains why they take the insurance and how you can work with somebody. Something I want you to notice from a design perspective is how much room there is to use on these postcards. The area that is where the indicia is, which is in the top right corner of the right side, doesn't even have to be that big. It can be even smaller. And so you have a lot of space compared to a normal postcard where you would have to leave the area that has to have the barcode on the bottom, that has to have the address in a certain location. It doesn't work with these that way because they're not actually going through their machines. They're literally being given to the route supervisor or the route mail person and saying, hey, just put one of these in every mailbox. So they never actually have to go through the coding system or any of that. So we sent out about, I think we sent out about 3,000 of these cards, and they ended up with about 250 new people coming into their pharmacy to the point where they had to actually hire an additional person. So this is extremely effective for businesses. This other one, this is the one I was talking about earlier that is a different size and a different layout. Now, something you may want to do is next time you get a pizza menu or get a Chinese menu in the mail, look at the indicia on it, if you can find it, because sometimes they're super small and they're tough to see. Most likely those are coming to you because of every door direct mailing. Restaurants use this stuff all the time. So I was working with this company, Simon's, and the owner came to me and said, hey, you know, wouldn't it be crazy to like do it like a pizza menu? So it grabs people's attention and they possibly would hold on to it. And so that's exactly what we did with the design. We came up with a design that actually listed things like it would look like on a pizza menu. And the crazy thing about this is he went to a job a year later and this was hanging on somebody's fridge. That's how long these things stick around. And this same guy owns another company that does soft wash. Same thing. He did a mailing 2 years ago and he's still getting calls from those postcards because people hang on to these things when they're like, hey, I may not need it right now. I might need it in the future. So it's amazing to see how effective they can be and how long they stick around. So again, this is a different size. This was actually like, it was about 4¼ by 11. So it fit the length size. It didn't have to fit the width size, just had to fit that length size. So it was a bifold that people hung on to. And it was a Bosher normal like trifold material, wasn't super thick. So it was easy for somebody to kind of like hold on to and throw in a drawer. So I highly recommend that if you know somebody that does service industry things like plumbing, electricians, lawn care, plowing and snow removal, resurfacing of driveways. All of those are perfect businesses for this style of product because they want to get everybody else in that neighborhood. They want to cut their overhead down for their employees to make sure that they don't have to drive all over the place, especially lawn care guys. They love to just mow 5 lawns in a row. This is a great product for them. So before I close, I'm actually going to drop into chat a flyer that I made that explains all of this again on the back. And it's a great thing that you can hand out to people you think that might need this product. So my name is Jake Van Es from Graphic Precision, and I will share that PDF.